Tonight, the story of a forgotten soldier who died in a forgotten war. His roots in Denver were also lost to history. Today, President Obama gave him America's highest military honor, one of 24 minority servicemen who earned the Medal of Honor but didn't receive it previously, perhaps due to prejudice. 9 News anchor Kyle Clark joins us from the White House.
Some people call Joe Baldonado a Mexican. He was an American, a Colorado native, and a hero.
He seems to be alive, really.
Everyone is here to remember.
You can even see the anguish in their faces.
To remember the boys sent to defend Korea.
Seeing this gives you a lot of pride, you know.
But only Charlie Baldonado actually remembers Joe.
I think about how cold he must have been, you know.
And it breaks a brother's heart.
Oh, it's something else. It's been 64 years, and I still miss.
And to know he is the last person with real memories of Joe.
I think about him, and I keep him alive that way.
He thinks of their earliest years, joining their parents in the fields as soon as they were old enough to work.
They were humble people.
With a humble home in Denver's old Auraria neighborhood, long since paved over and called Progress.
They worked wherever they could.
So that meant Colorado's beet fields, then California's orchards, until the day he enlisted as an American from nowhere in particular. He went where his commander-in-chief sent him, the last place he would ever go.
Corporal Joe Baldonado from the Korean War is still missing.
Hill 171 near Kandang, Korea, where Corporal Joe Baldonado, the citation says, distinguished himself by extraordinary heroism, where he moved his machine gun to an exposed position and drove the enemy back from Hill 171, drawing all of their fire. Joe won. As they retreated, they threw the grenade that killed him. The Army held that hill and buried Joe there in his parachute. 1950s America decided Joe deserved the second highest military honor.
Our military reviewed thousands of war records.
Modern-day America decided differently for Joe and 23 other minority servicemen.
Some of these soldiers fought and died for a country that did not always see them as equal.
That country wasn't yet ready to call a migrant worker a hero. Heroes have hometowns. Joe would have if he had come back from Korea and stood where his brother stands for him today.
My greatest fear is people won't remember the sacrifice.
There is a monument to memory in Colorado, on the edge of Aurora, where the plains meet population, where Rick Crandall is collecting their names.
Citizen soldiers from the great state of Colorado who left to defend freedom where they were called and didn't come back. And for almost half of the names that are on this memorial, their remains never came home.
There is no visiting Joe's burial place inside North Korea, and he has no headstone here, no memorial, until this Memorial Day, when his name will be engraved in Colorado's place of honor.
I'm so excited that in Colorado we get a chance to bring him home, that we get a chance to give him honor here, that we get a chance to say to Joe and to the rest of the family, thank you for your service, and we have not forgotten.
And to see all these people in this weather here, you know.
In Washington, there are no names.
You know something? I looked at that picture right there. That looks like him.
No names, only faces.
Look at the face right there. Look at the face right there. I'm sure that that's not what they had intended. But I looked at it as I was talking to you, and it popped out on me. You know, it's funny. But, wow. I'm glad I came. I'm telling you.
And he'll come to Colorado, point to the name, and he'll tell the story of Corporal Joe Baldonado, a story that only a brother really remembers.
There'll be generations that'll come over and say his name, and they'll say his name, and he will never be forgotten because he's going to be there.
Joe Baldonado enlisted in the service because he wanted to accomplish something. His brother tells me Joe never intended to be a hero. What he wanted to do was use his military pay to buy their mother her first house. Adele, the family bought that house with Joe's death benefit.
His wishes then were fulfilled. All right, thanks a lot, Kyle.
This weekend, Colorado kept a promise to honor and remember a hero forgotten for decades. We first shared the story of Corporal Joe Baldonado in March, when 24 minority servicemen overlooked for the Medal of Honor decades ago were finally given their due. Corporal Baldonado was born in Colorado in 1930 to parents who were migrant workers. The family bounced from town to town, state to state, until he enlisted. He died heroically in Korea. Our story in March asked Coloradans to embrace this hero without a hometown. The response has been overwhelming. They are brothers, sons, fathers, daughters. They form a family bound by two bonds. They lived their lives in Colorado. They gave their lives for America.
He was buried, wrapped in a parachute by his unit in what is now North Korea.
No one ever doubted Joe Baldonado's sacrifice, but no one here ever knew he was a Coloradan.
And in his birth state, 84 years later, he comes back home with his brother Charlie here from California to welcome him.
The Baldonado family knows the particular pain felt by families of half of the veterans listed here. There is no grave to visit, no special place to go and remember.
Their remains were lost at sea, covered in the destruction of battlefields, or buried in cemeteries away from Colorado.
The Colorado Freedom Memorial in Aurora is the first place where the name Joe Baldonado has been inscribed.
Many families who never had a grave to visit now have a place to leave their tears.
How fitting that a memorial etched in glass is not set in stone. Only the newest names are there, and only until funds allow a fresh panel to be etched with proof of their sacrifice. New names are added as Coloradans are lost in today's wars, and long-forgotten sacrifices are rediscovered.
Such an honor. How can you say thanks to all these people? Beautiful.
Charlie Baldonado is the last in his family with memories of Joe. He is no longer alone in remembering.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
We love you. We love Joe too.
They opened their hearts to him. They opened their hearts to us. You know, what I feel here won't come out here.
We know Charlie. We will remember Joe.
I'm just grateful. Grateful to the people from here from Colorado.